Cool. Doing a little draft here. It's the first pack. Zealous Executioner is pretty balmy, but I really am just not having fun playing black in this set. And so many people go for spiders that there's just like not the rest of the cards that I need. Whereas by comparison, the Wolvir Basher is something I really like. Um, so this is hard. I mean, I like white and I like red. So if I take the black, I'll end up going black-white or black-red. Probably the Arachno is going to get picked by whoever I pass these to. And if not that, the Mesa Lookout is strong, the Wolvir. I mean, there's strong picks in every color. So I'm not signaling that much. Signaling just means if you're passing a really strong card to whoever's next to you, it motivates them to get into that color, which means in the next pack, they switch directions of which way they're passed each pack. So if you're making strong, like if I was passing this, it's a pretty sure bet that whoever I passed it to would take it and play black. So that means in my second pack, when they're passing to me, I wouldn't be getting the black cards that I want. So you kind of want to stay a little bit aware of what you're signaling and the good cards you're giving away in addition to the good cards you're taking. Cool. So here, I mean, black-blue I really don't want to play, especially since I just gave away a strong black spider. At the same time, there's a second Arachnomancer here. This is really painful. I don't want to be that heavy on the curve though, so I'm going to go more aggro and try to get like an aggro black-red deck, I think. The reason is just that I probably would have taken that blue and gone spiders, which I usually don't, and that's annoying too because he's amazing. So I just passed an absolutely sick blue deck to whoever's on my right. So I need to be aware that the guy on my right is almost certainly playing blue, and he's got two of the card drawing spiders, and he's about to get the Kin of Olkoth, which is amazing as well. So that guy, I think, has a fair shot at winning because those are pretty unbeatable first few picks. But I'll focus on my game. Hate drafting is fine in the end, but as it is, it's like, it doesn't make sense. I'm not going to switch to blue now because he's definitely playing blue. So I kind of just need to take the strongest picks I can. Here, Bombsmith and Paraphagy are both totally solid. I mean, there's amazing white in this as well. I'm kind of kicking myself for this first pick. I wish I had taken another Wolvir Basher as my first pick, because then I would have a Wolvir, and I'd be able to go into another color here. Oh my gosh, another brutal blue card. The blue is just unbelievable right now. And it's funny because everyone to my left is going to be thinking the same thing. They're all like, I cannot believe I'm passing such amazing blue. But that actually makes me really confused, right? Because Mesa Lookout is a top tier white pick. So they're not playing white, they're not playing blue. I'm actually really scared right now that I'm sitting next to someone drafting black and red because those have been the weakest colors that are getting passed. Like if you're blue, there's no way in the universe that you pass the Cyclone Shaman. And if you're white, you don't pass the Mesa Lookout or the Pride's Fall. I mean, either of these. Whereas the Basher, it's like people are happy to pass that. I'm going to take this because it's on color, but I'm going to be ready to drop black and switch into red-white if I have to. Grim Harvester is really good, but he's off my colors. I've got two Wolvir Bashers here, which actually syncs really well with First Blood. If you can go like a 1-drop, then a Basher, then a First Blood, where you get the two haste guys and they swing in, you have an absolutely fierce first 3 turns curve. That being said, the Grim Harvester is slightly balmy. And that's a little bit hard to argue with. Life Drain Swift Strike. But he's really not going to play nicely. I mean, I could try to take him since I sort of backed myself into a corner with my picks here. and do a 3-color deck, or I could take the Slicer and give up on my black, or I could take the First Blood and go with the Bashers. Let's try. I'm going to take the Harvester because I like opening up white as an option. This is far from ideal, to be honest. I'm really not happy with this draft so far. But basically, if I really got pinched, I could drop red, because I'm pretty sure red's being taken, although Lunge is a reasonable red pick, so I'm not sure what's going on there. There's no good blue in this pack, which finally I'm happy to see. I've just realized that there's no good green cards coming around. So it's quite possible that the guys to my left are both playing green-red ramp, and they're sucking all the red and all the green out of the deck. In which case, I'm going to be open to the idea of playing a white-black deck and just splashing a little bit of red. And in that case, there's no good picks here. I got to take Lunge, I think, even though I don't like to. I think the Stinging Ambush is a better card for my colors, but I'm like, I don't want to commit fully to white. I just want to leave the option open in case I get continue to get screwed. And you can see again, I'm pretty sure that's what's happened. Everyone's playing ramp to my left, so all the blues getting passed. No one's playing spiders because otherwise that sick blue wouldn't have been getting passed, unless there were very strange packs. But I haven't seen any other good black cards. I mean, this is more crap. I might take that for tempo, but the Bruiser is a much better card. And given my messed up color base, even though I would love to deny that from the blue player, and it kind of fits my curve, I got to take the Bruiser. I've only got 1 3-drop so far, so that's a good fit. This is an interesting pack. More absolutely brutal, hard removal for blue. I wish I was sitting 1 to the right of me so that I could be building this blue deck, because that's just awful. I'm probably taking the Vampire's Kiss here. At this point, I've got the black, the black, the black. Star Shield's worthless. I like Staggering Blast a lot if I'm doing a really strong, like, red-white tempo deck, but I'm not convinced I'm going to get the tempo, although I'm really happy to see that Basher. If I could get a couple 1-drops and 3 Bashers, and if I could pick one of the red actions, which gives me the 2 1-1s, then actually that's a really threatening early game. I would also be looking for some shard calls, the white shard fixer, and the Roid, the whatever it's called, infusion device, the artifact that gives you a shard, that guy. So that's pretty good. I would really like here to take the Cackler. And I know everyone laughs at him. He's interesting because he gets passed a lot. But if I'm playing the red-white hero, which I probably would be, he's unbelievable once you throw first strike on him. He's swinging on the 4th turn as a 5-2 first strike. Very, very hard to deal with for certain colors. But I'm going to take the resource optimization, blah, 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 the Roid, just because, as I mentioned, my colors are screwed. Although the bright side of this is for the first time I can play the Bonewalker, because he'll probably drop as a 3-3 on the 3rd turn. Or at least maybe he'll drop as a 2-2, but then quickly become a 3-3. Nothing in there good for blue, which I'm happy. The Skirmisher is totally reasonable for green. He's the one that survived the ramp, which I'm surprised at. Ramp players, the green-red ramp, they often overlook the Skirmisher, and they'll end up just passing their first 3 turns because they're really obsessed with getting that the big drops later. And I think that's a mistake. I think you really want your 1 and your 2 drops, and the Skirmisher especially, because as you build your shard base with ramp, you can actually grow into a real threat. It's also nice if you attack. You'd never want to play your cards in your first main phase. You want to attack and then play cards in your second main phase. And when you do that, it means that you can attack with the whatever, the 1-1 pumpable, the little green guy, the Skirmisher, Nibblin, whatever he is, and they never know. Are they dealing with 3-3 or 5-5? And you can hold back your play in case you're able to do a favorable trade. Here, obviously, the Demon of Dusk is supposedly the best card, although I'm really pissed off at him right now because I lost the last gauntlet I did because he kept running into stupid spirit tokens. He's really strong against green-red ramp, and there's at least 2 players who are doing that. But also, he's got such a demanding shard base, 3 blacks, and since I've got to play a 3-color deck, as appealing as he looks, I really just can't take him. The Invoker's great, really strong. Another Basher's kind of interesting, but that might be a case of too much of a good thing. So I'm probably going to take the Invoker. What I would love to get is some evasion. So giving the Invoker... This guy's really threatening. And if you can put him on something with decent toughness or on something with evasion, he's kind of a win condition. And I'm always looking for win conditions. Okay, so another tough choice. We've got a Roid. That's a little annoying, because if I knew I was going to get another Roid with 3 shard fixers... Oh no, I've only got 2, so that's fine. If I knew I got him, I might have taken the Demon, on the basis that with 3 I could probably start fixing that. It's another black rare, so we're going to be passing 2 black rares. Someone will be happy about that. The Reaver's really, really interesting. She's sort of like a funny control card where you can hold on to her, and if you can manage your creatures properly and keep enough creatures in your hand for you to drop them when you need them, you can kind of use her as a way to wipe their board. Some decks can deal with it. White-black with the Anana hero, who can keep making spirit tokens, can deal with it really well because they can keep making 1-costers and keep their base alive. She sings great with red for the unblockable stuff, but the Chimera Guard Fallen is one of my favorite cards in this set. He swings on turn 4 as a 4-2, and then once you shift that off to something fiercer, and shifting it onto a Basher is amazing, because the Basher has 3 base toughness, so that is just such a strong play. Alright, here I've got a tough pick. Typically, I think the Etherealize is the strongest card in here, but I really like the strength of the 2-drop Lackey. The problem with the Lackey is which hero I take. So now I need to decide on my hero, because it's either the black-white who makes spirit tokens, or it's the red-white who gives +1/+1 and pump. If I'm taking the +1 and +1 and pump, I really don't want the Lackey. He doesn't synergize at all well with it, whereas a card like the Bright Moon Brave is a real winner. And frankly, my black's looking a little bit bleh. I might not even be able to play the black. And so I'm going to take the white for the earlier curve. It's the much weaker card, but I'm really nervous about my early curve here. I've already got a bit of removal. I've got the Vampire Kiss, and I've got the Boomsmith. So I really want some 1-drops. I value them super highly. All right. Here, the Bonewalker, again, very interesting. Another sick blue. Although this surprises me very much because this is coming as the, what is this, pick 19. So there's already been 3 picks out of this pack, and the bomb blue, he's not a bomb, but he's a very, very strong blue, hasn't been taken. So that means 3 players to my right also passed all of that blue, which just seems like a terrific oversight on all of our parts. Really, my choice here is between the Abominate and the Shard Call. Abominate, I love as a big threat. You put the Abominate on the Basher and you just sort of win the game. You put it on the Chimera Guard Faller, you win the game. But I'm a little bit nervous about my Shard base, and I've only got one fixer so far, so I'm going to take the Shard. These are kind of the choices you have to make, unfortunately, when you get off to a rough start. I got like a really strong first black pick, and then just no more black came to me. So then I sort of had to push into other colors, like this Grim Harvester pushed me into white, and I ended up getting some really strong white cards, so I'm glad I went that way. I would have been annoyed if I tried to force black and had to pass all those whites by. Here's really a choice between the Boomsmith and the Vamp. Whoa! All right, I guess I misclicked, and that made the choice for me. So I got the Vampiric Kiss. That's fine though. The optimization device or the Cackler or the Relic. So what can I put in him? I can't put green, which is my favorite shard to put in him, but you can put white, which drops him as a 2/2 first strike, and he doesn't have any color liabilities. So here I'm deciding, do I want the optimizer or the critter? I mean, my 3 is already really strong, so I'm going to take the 1. I mean, ideally I'd like to not play the Dynamo, because obviously he's a waste of time. The reason I grabbed him earlier is because with the white-red hero, you can it gives +1/+1 in first strike, but you can only activate it if you've got more troops than the opponent. And if you miss your 1-drop and you're playing second, it basically means that you can't get off your hero ability until you've drawn a removal card. And even if you play the removal, if they're curving out and they play a creature each turn, you still can't do it. So, because your removal takes up your critter play. So, it's just like, I really like having a first drop, even if it's a Dynamo, if I'm playing that hero. Cool. So here, with 3 shards, the Eye of Lixil is really interesting. I don't have much shift, so I don't care about him. The Gem Soul Feeder I don't rate. She's amazing, but it's not like I want to add a 4th color into this mess of a deck. Alright, First Blood I like to see. So this helps with the hero a lot. And I mentioned it helps with the Basher, of which I have 3. Also the Dynamo, the Scrapyard Dynamo, the 1-drop, it helps with your Basher a lot as well. So yeah, I'm going to take the First Blood probably. The rest of these cards, the Combat Trick's totally fine, but I would rather be playing 1-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop, and curving out and using my hero ability rather than holding. Oh no, I don't have many Combat Tricks. Yeesh. No. This synergizes too well with the Basher. And a 4th Basher, nice. I would have been kicking myself if I'd gone with the non-Basher synergy and then seen a 4th one. So I've got a play set of Basher. It's unbelievable how many of these I've collected through drafts now. I just keep picking them. At 22 cards by the end of the second deck. So basically I've only got I've got 5 cards in black, which are pretty reasonable. The 2 Vampiric Kisses, which are removal. The Grim Harvester, who's really great. And he synergizes well with this sort of like weenie approach I'm taking. Lots of little guys. Blah, mess of a pack. Swordplay I actually quite enjoy playing. People will judge me for that, but red, I don't have any of the right cards for it. So here it's really, do I want the 2-drop or do I want the 4-drop? I'll take the 4-drop. With First Blood as well, he synergizes pretty well. This is an easy pick for the hard removal. I don't love leaving them with a spirit, but what can you do? Something I only realized about this today is that you can refer constants, and there's really not many constants that matter in the game, but there are 1 or 2 in this set. So that's like, I guess, a nice fallback. Another Bonewalker or a Scorch. Smoke signals, I've never seen give a lot of value. The problem with this is the best way to use it is on the defense. Like you fake an all-out attack, but I don't like getting into the late game. Here I'm going to take the strong 3-drop because I've got my 2 Roids and the Shard Call, and I think he'll get play. Now, do I want a 1-drop or do I want the sword play? Probably neither, to be honest. Maybe the 1-drop. Ugh, to play 2 Scrapyard Dynamos is just humiliating. Alright, the Cackler I like to see a lot. I'm interested by the blue deck that's going on. I guess I haven't seen the I don't know. Ugh, another Pyro Knight. I love having 1 of those in my deck as a finisher, but having 2 is really not useful. So I'm going to move those off. The Harbinger. He's a huge bomb. He's also one of the more valuable cards in the set, I believe, so it's tempting to rare draft him, but I'm in it to win it, so we're not going to do that. Probably the Invoker here is the best card. Two Invokers shifting their abilities back and forth, and when you combine it with the first strike ability of the hero, you can really mess with people. Probably realistically looking at this, I'll be dropping the black and doing my normal red-white aggro deck. It's such a shame to lose a first pick. Actually, though, if I do that, I lose so many cards if I do that. I'll have to see what this pack brings me because if I drop the black, not only do I lose the 3 black cards and the combined card, but then I also don't need to play either Void or the Shard Call, both of which I went out of my way to get, so that would be a bit annoying. Green-blue, I can make the whole 5-color deck. Black-blue. So there's one of the enabler cards. We're back passing the spiders again, although I'm really confused by the spider decks. I don't have a good read on what the other players are doing to my right. We're not playing green. I haven't seen much good green past me, so I'm not too worried about that. The ramp guys on my left have been taking it all. This is probably an easy choice on the slicer. A deck like the one I'm building really benefits from First Strike. Like, First Strike turns the Cackler from a waste of time into a monster. So being able to shift around First Strike is obviously pretty strong, and nothing else in this deck has any sort of threat power like that does. Take my 5th Basher for the deck. Remember, in Constructed, you can only have 4 of a kind, but in Limited, you can play as many as you get your hands on. So I could, in fact, play 5 Bashers, which would amuse me terrifically. The Duskwing, actually, I rate a lot higher than people seem to, because he synergizes really, really well with Abominate, and black has precious little evasion. There's more monstrous blue. I'm pretty sure this blue deck who's getting all these cards is going to win this draft. My own startup disk almost full. Hopefully we finish this draft in time so that the video doesn't stop recording on us. Oh, I think I can actually, I just deleted something, but I didn't clear my empty trash. Empty. So Skewer would be amazing, but unfortunately I can't play it because the 2 red requirements in a 3-colored... Oh, although I've got way too many cards that are playable, so I'm definitely dropping the black. If I definitely drop the black, then that frees up a lot of cards, so that means Skewer is playing. I'm also tempted by the Deadeye Ripper, just because he's a solid 1-drop. I've got these terrible 1-drops in the Dynamos. The Bright Moon Brave is fine. I don't rate him. The Ripper actually has real value. The Ripper plus the... where did he go? The Flamehand Invoker, of which I have 2, is sort of a win condition, but I'm pretty short on removal, especially once I drop my black, because 2 of my removals are Vampire's Kiss. It's annoying in that pack where I took the second Vampire's Kiss. I was going to take the Boomsmith because I was a bit short on 4 costs, like 4-drops. But there's another one, so that's quite handy. I probably would have played 3 of them. I like them a lot. It's just so sick. Even if you can do like Dynamo, Basher, anything from the 3-drop column, then 4th turn you drop a Boomsmith and you clear one of their threats, they just start weeping. It's really, really strong. The Acolyte. What do I have in the way of shift? I don't have much. I've got the Chimera Guard Fallen, and I've got the 2... where did they go? Oh, they're over here. The Flamehand Invokers. But that's not enough, and those aren't the sorts of things that I would take the Acolyte for. So I'm going to take the Boomsmith, and let's start getting rid of the black. It's so annoying to throw away a first pick, but what can you do? we're trying to build like the best deck we can, right? And it's easy when everything goes your way, but where drafting gets interesting is when your plan A and your first few picks get completely screwed and you have to go a different direction. What do we got here? Although I like the idea of the Bone Walker as well, like 3 Bone Walkers, 4 Bashers. I wonder if there's like a fun 3-color deck I could do. No, the Skewer's too good. I mean, 2 Skewers are just unbelievable. I'm also tempted. I love the Soloist, but Skewer is like a first pickable card, so I'm really pleased to see that this late in the game. Here, the Etherealize is better, but I want more 1-drops because I need them for my Bashers and I need them for my hero abilities, so we can get rid of the Bone Walkers. We don't need a 2/2/3 drop. That is bad. The Cackler we need, all those we need, the Faller, yeah, good. The reason I took the Eye of Lixil is because I thought with a 3-color deck it would be cute to get the protections, but I don't actually rate her in a 2-color deck. I might sideboard her in, but she's certainly not main deck material. How many 1-drops do I have? 1, 2, 3. Metal's really good. Do I want metal or do I want the 1-drop? Take the 1-drop. If I had more good 1-drops, I would have taken the metal there. I really rate it, but oh well. Wind Speaker, he would be fun. I should try. No one ever takes the Wind Speakers because like no one ever plays blue-white, blue-green. Blue-white would be fun. Maybe 3 colors: blue, white, black. I should try the 3-color deck and just like really aggressively draft it one day because you always see lots of these. Oops, anyway, better click on my Scorch. If you're taking your time, you may as well just click on the thing. And remember, if you right-click on something to view it, it highlights that object, so don't go viewing cards you don't want in the last few seconds. Yeah. Here, what do I do? Like, on the one hand, so I'm actually really happy having no 5-drops. I like to win by turn 4 with this deck, or at least on turn 4. Or turn 5, let's say, but the 5-drop doesn't matter. So I would rather just play more like solid 4-drops, which means the Etherealize is probably my play here. This guy, the Stalwart, really strong in control-y decks, but I'm not trying to control. I'm trying to push and win in a hurry. Here I'm going to hate draft. The Lullaby slows me down a turn, and it fits really well into ramp decks. I'm actually surprised it got passed, because I thought the 2 people to my left who were passing to me were playing green-red ramp. Maybe I'm wrong about everything. Maybe everyone else is just a bot who's rare drafting, and I'm getting all the good cards. Whoops. I accidentally took that smoke signal, so let's remove that from the deck, but that's okay. There wasn't anything else worth taking. I'm using a mouse that, I'm sure you hear it clicking, that really doesn't work very well. And sometimes it double clicks and sometimes it releases my drag, so I need to switch that out for a different mouse. The reason I'm using a mouse at all is because I was at a networking event and stupidly had my computer on the table and some other guest poured their beer on it. But what can you do? What can you do? So the Loom, here I'm just going to hate draft as well, or the Liar. I've been slowed down by that before, where people take it and they just sit on it, and it's so annoying. And it's like, it doesn't help you win, but it can really like annoy me when I'm trying to win. And obviously, like with a deck like mine, if it goes into the late game, I just lose. Cool, so let's get rid of the off-color cards first. Throw away my first pick bomb. Throw away the optimization devices, of which there are 2. How are we doing now? 28 cards, great. That's looking, whoops, Star Touch Brave, not sure what he's doing in there. Shard Call, do I want to play the Shard Call? Probably not, so that goes too. I basically figure like in a 2-color deck, and I've got low thresholds, you'll see there's not a lot of double white or double red. except for the skewers, but fine. Because really, I'm not aiming to play those on turn 3. I'm aiming to play those on turn 5, because I want to drop creatures or troops on turns 1 through 4, and then on turn 5, that's where my removal comes in, like the skewer, the etherealize, and hopefully swing for the win. Or on turn 5, you drop the Pyro Knight. So I'm really not worried about the shard call because like I would either rather play a shard or I would rather play a 1-cost troop. So it just doesn't fit, even though it's good. It's a real shame to lose the Grim Harvester. That's the card I'm most upset about losing. Ooh, a Boomsmith. Not sure why he wasn't in the deck. Pyro Knight. Yeah, I've already got one. I don't want to play 2. So now we'll sort by costs and we'll figure out this curve. So I actually consider skewers to be, as I mentioned, like 5 drops. And same with etherealize. So they're out here as like big removal. So what does that mean? I've got 3 1-drops. Meh. I probably need to clear 27, so I need to drop 4 cards. I don't want to play Scorch in the main deck. I'll bring him back in if I'm playing against Spirits, because I really don't like the chump blockers that Spirits provide. But apart from that, it doesn't have a lot of utility for me, and in most cases I would rather have a land or a threat. Dynamo. I probably don't need 2 Dynamos. And then in my 2-drops, I can't believe I have 5 Bashers and 2 Invokers. That's absolutely sick. Alright, the Bruiser's good. 2 Skewers, those are good. Chimera Guard Fallen's a machine. The Cackler I might not need to play. I thought I had the first strike guy. Oh yeah, the Deadeye Slicer, the Swift Strike, I do. So that's all promising. I've got to drop at least 2 more cards, so that's probably going to be a Dynamo. Although I don't like having only 4 1-drops. Missing my 1-drop makes me really, really sad. I can make up for it a little bit with First Blood, because that gives me 2 cards on my 3-drop. The Deadeye Slicer I can't give up. That's too much utility. The Fallen I can't. The First Blood syncs too well with the Bashers. Flamehand Invoker's a win condition, so I kind of need to lose that 1-drop. The Pyro Knight syncs so well. I might lose an Etherealize. Actually, I might lose both Etherealizes and then sideboard them back in and bring in a Scrapyard Dynamo instead. Although the Etherealize is really strong against red-green ramp, because they can slow you down, because turn 4, turn 5 is about when they bring out their first big blocker. And that's pretty much the only thing that slows down a fast first strike deck. So I'll leave 1 in the main deck, and then if I'm playing against ramp, I will bring the other one in from reserves. So we want Bryson, obviously. The whole point of this deck is to keep more troops on the board than the opponent and like first strike everything and then just keep attacking every turn and wait for them to give up on turn 4. Anything else that I want to be playing here? Some of these are fine, like Eye of Lixil. This like should be really interesting. I think this is interesting. There's a lot of black bombs in the rare category. Or if you're playing, I think actually there's an interesting black-white spider deck that no one really plays, where you play spiders and you also play the black-white hero Anana, who gives you the spirit tokens. And you don't go all in on spiders, but you have some. And then you use things like Abominate and Eye of Lixil and some of the resource things. And if you've got the resource searchers, like whatchamacallit, where did it go? Shard Call or the Roids, you can essentially bring in whatever color your opponents are playing, and she becomes like an unkillable blocker. So she can just stop their biggest threat every turn, and then if you abominate her, she's an absolute machine. So that I think there's something there. I think people are going too all in on spiders, right? They're always like black, blue, spider, spider, spider. But I think you could probably go halfway and get some interesting stuff. Oh yeah, but what I was trying to say is in my deck, she really doesn't provide value because I would rather have the extra point of attack and be able to use her as an aggro threat. She's only useful if you want to use her as a defender, which I have zero interest in doing. Although that being said, with the hero ability, maybe there's something to be said for her. Um, Cool. So one problem I've noticed, gosh, I almost have a mono red deck. Ooh, I just had a thought. Where's my stats? Ratios, no resources. So I'm only 25% diamond. So out of my 24 cards, that means only 6 of them are diamond. And actually, I have 6 good black cards, I think. 1, 2, 3. No, I only have 3 good black cards. Never mind. I was just wondering if it made sense to drop the white in exchange for black. Because something I don't like about this curve here is that I need diamonds at the beginning, but then my second turn is like all ruby. He's only 1 threshold, right? If I had 2 threshold here, I'd probably just delete him. And it's like, it's sort of an awkward threshold curve. Although something nice is that my diamond is all single threshold, and I only have a tiny bit of dual ruby threshold from those skewers, which I can play later. So that looks okay to me. This is probably the deck I'm going to play. And I'll probably just play even white and red because I really only need... I might play 9 red and 1 white. Or sorry, 9 and 7. That gives me my 40. By the way, you might sometimes be tempted to be like 41 cards, but like don't do it. Always 40, unless you're playing some sort of weird, crazy ass deck that's in it for the long haul, and you're gonna try to. I don't even know when you would do that. You've got like you're playing a control deck and you have so much card draw, you're worried about decking yourself. I just don't see it. Because like if you're new, you're like you want to include all the good stuff, but when you look at 2 cards, there's always like a card you would prefer to draw compared to a different card, and so you can sort of think through your first turns. Let me do some test draws here and see. So like this is not necessarily what I'd like to see. This is about as bad as it gets because my first turn I don't have a play. My second turn, draw 1. I drop a basher, great. Third turn, draw 1. All right, I've already lost this game because I've missed my 1 drop and my 3 drop. Then on turn 4, it's like, I mean, seeing that hand up top there, I would probably have to keep it, but I would really be like a bit grumpy about it. This one I'm definitely mulliganing if I get. It's just like too weak, so I would mulligan that. This one I'd probably actually keep because you've got your 1 drop and then I'm hoping, and no, we lose that game. New hand, 2 whites, no red, but that's okay because I got my 1 drop. I might draw it into a red for my 2 drop. If not, I have a white 3 drop. Oh gosh, well I lost that game. Man, mulligan that one too. I'm glad I'm getting these out of the way now, right? Maybe I have... I mean, this one's... gosh. Really not what I want to be seeing. This is the sort of hand I'm happy with. 1 drop Scrapyard Dynamo. 2 drop the Basher. 3 drop the Mesa Lookout. 4 drop the Deadeye Ripper into shifting another Wolvear Basher with speed and go boom. And you've won the game. This one I'd keep because I have a 1 drop, a 2 drop, and then a trick, and probably I'm going to draw something else. Yeah, so there's my 3 drop, and then I've got strong removal, and I first strike him. So that's fine. Here, you've got your 1 drop in the Brave, your 2 drop in the Invoker, your 3 drop in the Lookout. And then on your fourth turn, you can either double up Invoker Basher, or you can skewer them to clear the way for like a big Invoker buff. Well, actually, no, because you don't have the resources for that yet. Anyway, those first few draws were pretty rotten, but that's what I ended up with. Not the best draft. I'll record another little bit at the end to give you a summary of how it ends up working. Maybe I'll grab a couple highlights. I haven't figured out how to make these videos yet. But that's basically it. So this is like a totally fine red, white, aggro, possibly with slightly too many bashers. I might have overindulged in those. Although now that I think about it, I wonder if there's a case to be made for adding in something I didn't like about those test draws was not enough one drop. So I might add in the other one drop and take out something later on so that I have more chance of being able to go off with my bashers. What would I take out if I did that? I'm just sort of freewheeling here. I got 3.5 minutes still, so I may as well think it through. I've made the mistake a lot of just being too hasty. I went into a gauntlet earlier today with a hero whose threshold I didn't even have in my deck, just because I was like, hey, I was so excited to like get started. So I always do the test draws, make sure I got the right resources, double check the hero. Good old Bryson. You have a think through. And these silly questions like, wait, should I switch from white to black? Yeah, they're worth asking. I'm sort of wondering. I really like my 3-drops, but I'm sort of wondering if I have too many of them, or if 5 Wolvier Bashers is too many Bashers. To be honest, I've never played with more than 2 of them before, so I don't really know. You know what I would have loved to get in this deck, which would pretty much just be like another win condition? It's a shame I didn't see any. He syncs so well with the Flame Hand Invoker. He's the 2/1 red guy who can shift the ability that it can only be blocked by creatures who attack is at least the same as his attack. So once you shift that onto like a Basher or an Invoker, or you shift like any of this stuff, you essentially get like a giant unblockable thing. Or the Scraptooth Cackler. This guy, once you've thrown your hero ability onto him, is a 5/2, which can't be blocked by anything with less than 5 attack, which is just like the trades they have to make to take him down is like unbelievable. Whoops, better save this thing, huh? Do I want to take a frickin' something out? I might actually take a Basher out. I wonder if 5 Bashers is too much. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Or do I want to take a lunge out? I have very few combat tricks. No, I need that because he's too important with my, like, he's a way to keep the Deadeye Slicer alive as well. Oh, gracious. What do I want to do here? Yeah, I think I'm actually going to take a Basher out. That's a weird choice, right? Because I'm removing a Basher in exchange for a Scrapyard Dynamo, but ultimately I need... what am I trying to say? I need the 1-drops in order for my deck to go off, so we'll see how it goes. I'll keep this video running. It's just 40 seconds, and we'll see how the first couple hands go. I'm not going to play through the whole tournament, 'cause it's way more fun to watch draft picks and hear the logic behind those than it is to watch the games play out. If anything particularly interesting happens in the games, you can rest assured that I'll turn the video back on so you can get to sample that. One of the things, I'll try to put together another video for it, because it's really interesting, and I don't think people understand how to do it with the phase stops. And it comes up a lot in this red-white deck, especially with skewers, so hopefully it will here. After first strike damage happens, you have a chance to act, which means that with quick actions, you can drop your, Swift Strike. Your Swift Strike can trigger, and then you can drop a quick action. And that means, I hope this isn't that brutal blue deck I kept passing amazing cards to. That would be a terrible way to start. Oh, gracious. Obviously, I'm mulliganing this one. And that is fine. That's hilarious, though. I don't have a basher. I do have my dynamo. He's taken the spot of my dynamo. I'll keep that. He's playing first. This is going to be a tough game for me. I'm hoping that I can use the lunge on my second turn as my like 2-drop to well, do something. You know, like if he plays something, I'm just going to attack into it, and then I'm going to lunge it, or maybe I'll hold back and do it as a block. Although he won't be able to attack. Oh, that little guy. Huh. He forces a discard. I'm not sure that I want to. That's tricky. So here I'm basically deciding whether I want to discard a card. I could discard a ruby. I have enough threshold now. So I'm going to attack. He's going to chump block, obviously, because he thinks that's a great trade where he can make me discard. At least he should have chump block there. He might be holding an abomination or something like that. I probably should have lunged him just to use my resource. It's really annoying he didn't let me kill him. Maybe he was playing super smart. Oh no, that's so weird. I don't know what's going on there. So here as well, what I'll probably do is attack again, see if he wants to make the trade now. Charge! And what I'll do if he blocks is drop the Mesa Lookout. Is he going to block? Yeah, there we go. Cool. So I'll drop the Mesa Lookout. That allows me to keep my curve going and also maintain my creature so that I can trigger my hero ability when I want to. I know it's a weird use of a Mesa Lookout just to keep a frickin' nothing alive, but it's just so important to keep the troop advantage in this deck. So that's what I'm going to do. It's very unlikely now. What did he just do? Oh, he suddenly awakened it. Cool. So next turn what I can do is he'll probably only play one creature this turn. If he plays two, that would be weird and annoying. Great. That's actually a beautiful pick for me, or draw, because I want something that I can throw away. But I also need to be able to trigger my ability. What do I want to do about that? Well, I'm going to attack into him anyway, because that's just the way I am. So I'm going to play the Ruby Shard. I'm going to turn my Dynamo into a threat. And then now that I've played this stuff, well, what am I going to do here? Oh, we'll pass that. I'll probably drop the lunge. I think the lunge has it would have played its purpose earlier in causing him to lose a unit. But it's like where it is now, I don't really see the lunge winning the game for me. And I would rather have the extra creature, quite frankly. So, drop that. Cool. Here, the Basher is going to swing for more next turn. Typically, you want to play the thing that costs more resource because, like, let's say next turn I draw a 2-drop. I wouldn't be able to play both of them. So it's like, it's like kind of a marginal play, or like a marginal, I don't know what to do. But I'm hoping I figure I might draw a resource, or I might draw 1-drop. There's a few things I could draw. The next action gets copied. Cool. Hopefully that's not any sort of fierce removal. If that's, for example, a Vampire's Kiss that he gets that put on, and he can drop 2 of my cards, that would be really, really rough for me. Cool, so I drew a shard, so that's obviously fine. We're just going to attack fully into him. He'll probably kill my Bashir, but that's okay. If we go into the long game, Spiders always wins, so I kind of just need to win. Cool. He's down to 13. That goes away. I play that. Do I want to hold the Diamond Shard? I'll just hold that, representing a combat trick. I actually think he's got this game. He's in a much stronger position than I am because I don't have that much threat on the boards. He just drew a really strong blocker, so that obviously helps him a lot. And my hand's empty, and I'm drawing garbage. So I think probably he'll be able to stabilize and win once like spiders and stuff like that start coming out. But we'll see. We'll give it a good old college try. I've got literally no evasion in this deck, I don't think. So the best I can hope for is to build another giant Swift Striker, or a first giant Swift Striker, I guess, because I don't have any right now. Yeah, that's hard. Now I can't attack into him anymore, because if I attack, he kills one each turn, and he stalls the other. So yeah, he's stabilized this deck in one. I started off way too slowly. Pyromancer, that's interesting. So that stops him from blocking with that, which is something, or Pyronite, something I'd like to see. My other option here, it's a little bit risky. So if I do that, I essentially force him to block that, so I trade one. He chumps one of them. I don't actually force it at all, so probably I swing through for 6 if I do that. And then next turn, so nothing dies. Let's see. So he could chump one and stall one. Then I get 3 through. He's at 6. That guy's dead. And I've got a 3-2. And I've killed a serious threat. It's probably worth doing. Yeah. Oh well. I don't love this situation. The other option, the thing I was considering was holding out for more resources so that I could drop him and have something buffed up to size 4. But the problem is, like, the Arachnomancer is just so good, and I really don't want to let his board state stabilize that much more. As it is, he let me sneak 6 damage through, which is actually the best thing I could have hoped for. Because depending on what I draw, so for example, let's say I draw a wow, what am I trying to say? A skewer. Psychic torments me. What's that? Whenever I take damage, I lose a card. 2 of them. That's hilarious. And top 5 cards. That's funny. If I'd known that was the case, I probably would have stalled more. Little annoying. I could have used that first striker. Him I could have really used. I would have liked to have drawn some of those cards, but there wasn't a skewer in there, so I'm actually quite happy with that. So now I win. Hey, great. He made a big mistake by not blocking. He should have traded one and stalled the other, and I'm not totally sure why he didn't, but, fine by me. Now, what do I want to draft in against spiders? So he's playing blue-black, so Eye of Lixil is obviously worthless. Spiders is handled by their big enablers, and they're really good at stalling, so I might actually play another Etherealize, and I might take out the Boomsmith, just because they don't have small spiders that I care about that much, so I'd rather be able to remove the big stuff. And I'm probably going to play the Basher, just because, well, I don't need to justify that. I'm going to play the Basher because with the 3 toughness, they don't have a lot of stuff that can remove that in that deck. So I think that I should be able to annoy them. And here I might play a second Pyro Knight instead of the Boomsmith. There's so few things. The best you're going to get off of the Boomsmith is like removing a chump blocker. And given that he was so devoted to milling, removing cards from my deck, I'm just like not that scared of anything little, I guess. So I'd rather remove some of my aggro, or sorry, anyway, you know what I'm saying. Lunge, remove some of my removal and keep the aggro in. Lunge, I'm going to leave in. Scrapyard Bruiser, maybe he gets lost in exchange for the bigger stuff later. Yeah, Scrapyard Bruiser. Because I need the first Swift Strike and all that other stuff. I said I wasn't going to record this, but that was actually a pretty interesting game. So we'll see if this one's interesting. If it gets dull, maybe I'll turn it off. Yeah, obviously he plays. I draw not an amazing opening hand because I don't have a one drop, even though I've got 5 of them, but it is totally fine. I like the 2 bashers. The Mesa Lookout's a nice trick. The whole thing's fine. So, let's see what we can do here. Oh, a 1-drop would be amazing. Give me a 1-drop. No. These decks, I think a couple mistakes this guy made with his deck building is, not that I should be allowed to comment, I guess, when like my draft was so screwed, but I don't think with spiders you ought to play that much library removal, especially that constant is really not good. Because that constant, that blue one, it removes cards from their deck, which obviously is great. It turns spiders on like crazy whenever they get damage dealt. But you're not really sneaking through damage as a spider deck until you've got spiders. So the problem is, it's like, it only helps you go nuts when you're already going nuts. And like, yeah, what's the point of that, right? You're like, yeah, I just don't see it. It's like what you want. I almost would, if I was going to play that card, I would rather play the blue action who, there it is again. Yeah, this is the card I'm making fun of. I would rather play the blue action that just removes 5 because by the time you've hit me 5 times to trigger that, like similarly, I mean, like, what's the conversation we're even having? Okay, so this is cool. So I'm probably going to shift that onto him because that's going to make me win. Remember, it buffs your attack equal to your health. So here I'm also going to do something sneaky, and I drop the Mesa Lookout, and I'm going to trigger it onto him. Normally I would use this, obviously, as a combat trick, but because of the ability I just shifted onto him, that's going to give him an extra 2 attack. I made a slight misplay, so he's going to swing for 7. I made a slight misplay where I should have buffed him there as well, which would have added an extra 2 damage and brought him down to 8 and put him in the kill zone. But I think I'll probably win next turn anyway. So this will be good. This will be a good like turn 5 win. Yeah. Turn 4. That was what I was saying. Like a lot of the decks right now, spiders and ramp, they seem to be content to like not do anything for the first 3 turns. And I think because they keep playing against each other, because they're both so popular, they're kind of getting away with it. And then you get into these big dramatic standoffs where like spiders seem really good because they're like controlling the board and drawing lots of cards and blah, blah, blah. And you win very dramatically. But in my opinion, like those are bad decks and they only win against bad decks. It's just like there's a lot of bad decks out there and they play each other and you know, then it's like you get a skewed sense of judgment. So always remember, I think like in the draft format, what we're looking for is like by turn 4, it should be like pretty clear who's going to win, except in very rare cases. And I have played some amazing control decks, but you know, we'll talk about those when we're playing them. Cool. Oh yeah.